Hello and welcome to this lesson. We are going to talk about the references. If we go to Google and type things like astrology or constellations, you will find a lot of things that revolve around a common concept: the graphic representation of this iconography. Let me explain myself a bit. Depending on the date of birth, each person is assigned one of 12 signs, which in theory corresponds with their personality. This iconography first came out a lot of time ago, back when magazines were still a new thing, and it's used in the horoscope, which gives predictions about work, love, etc. Give me a second. Alright, let's go to Pinterest. Here we are. As I told you before, there are 12 signs in total, roughly one for each month. For example, being born on the first 2 weeks of February means that your sign is Aquarius. Being born on the last days of December means that your sign is Capricorn. Being born on the last days of September means that your sign is Libra, and etc. Usually, each of these signs is associated with a predetermined personality. It's something also related to fantasy, because a lot of designers decide to create their own visions and representations of these astrological signs. They also have some common features that makes this kind of work easier. Take a look at this iconography. It has a flat style, but the one before that had more elaborated illustrations, with gradients, textures, and details. I think you have already noticed some of these common features, right? For example, Pisces is associated with fishes, so we could make a mermaid. Leo is associated with lions, so we could make one too. I have thought of developing a set of patches using our own illustrations and working within a given color palette. For starters, let's go to this website called Colors. In this website, we can generate a color palette every time we press the spacebar. We can also lock the colors we want. We can modify their hue and saturation, and we can get their hex code. There are other alternatives, like getting the palette from Pinterest. And there's one more option: getting the palette directly from Photoshop. So, let's create a new document. For the width and the height, let's see. Make it 3000 by 3000. Yeah, this will be a square format. Regarding the topic we are talking about, we are going to create a visual representation of each astrological sign. For example, this is the depiction of Aquarius made by this artist. It shows a woman pouring water into a landscape. In this other example, the 12 signs of the zodiac are represented by trees. There are a lot of different versions of this, using other objects or elements. For example, pieces of clothing, hairstyles, or dresses for each sign. In my case, I've decided to create something more visual, like avatar icons. Yeah, we'll create some avatar badges. I think it would be cool if we could put them on display. Oh, and by the way, this is another example. The signs are represented by tattoos. You get the idea. The possibilities are endless. Before proceeding with the sketches, I want to make a little recap of what we have talked about so far. Alright, so the horoscope is obviously based on astrology, which is the study of the constellations and the celestial objects, and their relative positions, of course. Allegedly, this affects our daily life and affairs, such as health, wealth, work, and love. Such content is featured on magazines and, day by day, tells us what is going to happen to each of us and what rewards or hurdles will stand in our way. Each of these astrological signs is represented by a symbol, and you can see them on the right part of the screen. Let me open that image. I'm going to save it for further reference. Okay, it's saved. I think this is a good time to end this lesson. I believe I've already told you all that I wanted to talk about references. You can look for more in Pinterest or other websites like Instagram. Or just Google them. Once you have enough references, go to the next lesson to begin sketching.